Hello, everybody. Sindel here. We're Team Eat, Sweat, Pray. So this is our team call. Today is February 21st. A couple of little announcements. So if you guys have not seen yet, starting March 1st, something super exciting, we will actually now be getting Success Club points, 2 of them, for our Shakeology home direct, the home direct purchases. So before we would only get 1 point for those. So it's really awesome. And I'm sure they kind of decided to dish this out and getting the 2 Success Club points because so many people are jumping on and doing the all access pass. And it's really hard to obviously sell a challenge pack to somebody who has all access, because why would they want a challenge pack? They have access to every program. So I think this is really smart of Beachbody and really exciting that corporate is dishing this out, especially like right away. They're obviously hearing our feedback. So that's awesome. I love knowing that they're hearing from us. Another thing that if you have not noticed on the Beachbody On Demand now, if you guys are not ones that have all access or not, there are programs specifically, or I should say workouts specifically on just Beachbody On Demand. So they have 17 new ones that they just came out with. And there's also a new yoga. There's like it's for the Ultimate Reset. It's like called the Ultimate Reset Yoga. So if you're familiar with the Ultimate Reset at all, you do not work out during that time period at all when you're doing the Ultimate Reset. Now this is like a full cleanse. Correct me guys if I'm wrong, is it 21 days or 30 days? 21? Christy's done it. I've not done it. So anyways, so you're not supposed to work out during the time that you're doing the Ultimate Reset. So they now have come out with like a yoga portion, so you can actually do the workout feedback and whatnot. So that is there. Again, it's exclusively through the Beachbody On Demand. And I think there was one other thing I wanted to announce, but I don't remember what it was. If I think about it, I'll tell you. Okay, so those are the announcements. Kate, Christy, anybody else? Do you guys have any other announcements we should add in? Team Cup. We're halfway through.
The only other thing I was going to say is we have a live sneak peek into coaching next week. So keep that on your radar. If you want to help lead, let us know. It's a great opportunity. Even if you don't have anybody coming, I recommend leading because it shows up in your public feed, and you'll be surprised at who hears you, and that plants seeds in people's, minds. So anyways, just wanted to throw that out. It's next Tuesday. Thanks.
Thank you. And they're always so fun, you guys. I love hosting the groups, and it's a really nice way if you're like, I'm not totally comfortable just doing lives on my page yet. Like it's a little bit more intimate, but it's still public. So it gives you a little bit more confidence in doing live feeds and whatnot. So yes, thank you for the reminder. And also, you guys have challenge groups running, be inviting those challengers to our sneak peek. I know something Christy and I have started doing is we talked about inviting all of our challengers to that, whether you think they're going to coach or not. It's not our place to decide if they're going to coach, but it's a great opportunity for you guys, whether you just want to invite them to it, send them a quick message. Hey, don't know if you're interested in this, whatnot. You would sure do that. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the call tonight. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, can everybody see my desktop? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, I'm gonna do the full screen. And will somebody just shout out if it's not working correctly? Okay, guys. Now, I'm just gonna downsize that a little bit. Okay, so tonight I'm gonna be covering some topics about being honest with ourselves and really kind of diving into what the kind of person we really are. And I'm gonna apologize right now, my kiddos are going to bed, so if you guys hear them jumping around and yelling, that's what they're doing. Okay, so get out a piece of paper and be ready to write some stuff down, because we'll be writing kind of at the beginning and towards the end of this little presentation. Oh, if it'll let me go. There we go. Okay, so did you guys know that you are actually the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? Now, this might be something you've heard of, or maybe this is totally a new concept to you. I know when I first heard this, it was kind of an aha moment of, exactly where I put expectations on myself. And you guys are friends, and those that we hang around with us, they can either bring us up or they can tear us down. Now, this goes for people that we hang out business-wise and friendship-wise. So right now, I would like you to take out that piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down who are your top 5 people that you spend the most time with. And this can be family, this can be friends, coworkers, whatever you would consider the people that you spend truly the most time with. You don't even have to be friends with these people. Maybe they're coworkers that drive you crazy. I don't know. Okay, did I give you guys enough time? So your top 5 people, go ahead and write them down. Now, I want you guys to think about what your dream life looks like. Now, you don't have to elaborate too big, but just kind of write a quick sentence on where you want your life to go. I mean, does your dream life look like you're making a certain amount of income? Is it maybe a certain amount of freedom that you're looking for? Is it, is your dream life spending more time with your kids and family, or maybe taking a couple of family vacations a year? There's so many ways, and everybody's dream is going to look a little bit different. Some of us may want to retire our husbands. Some of us right now might just be wanting to pay for the family vacation. So it just depends on where you're sitting and where you want your dream to go. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of keep this in mind as we go throughout this presentation, kind of what that dream that you want in the future to be. Now, there are 3 types of people. The first type of people, they're watchers. Now, these are, actually, sorry, I'm gonna elaborate that. So your first type of people are watchers. And then you have your motivational driven doers. And then you have your true doers. And I saw this quote as I was putting this presentation together, and I was like, it just fits it perfect. So we have to love Mary Kay Ash. She is, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Mary Kay, right? Like Mary Kay Cosmetics. This is the founder. So there are 3 types of people in this world: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. We all have a choice. We can decide which type of person we want to be, and I've always chosen to be in the first group. So keep this in mind now as we continue to go through which group do you want to fall in these 3 types of people. And I felt like this quote really matched the 3 types of people that are in this world. Now I'm going to kind of relate this to coaching. So people number 1, the watchers. These are going to be your people that they might not join you. This might be a family or friend that they're going to watch what you do. Maybe it's somebody that just follows your page or follows your personal page or something like that. They're not going to join you. They're going to watch from afar. They're not going to be the ones to reach out to you at all. They're the total wallflower, so to speak, the fly on the wall maybe. They may also be coaches. They may be people that have signed up as coaches, and they may be the ones that are telling you what they want, that they want this huge goal accomplished. They want all these things done, but then they only watch. And guys, sometimes the people that say they want the biggest things are the ones that do the least. So these can be coaches right alongside you. And they may join you, like coaches sometimes do, and then they might just disappear. They might be jumped in and been like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then they just totally disappear. Or they might stay active, might do Shakeology. They might be in challenge groups, but they're never going to move forward, even if they say they do. So that's people number 1. Number 2, these are our motivational driven doers. These people need motivation. These people can do things when they want to. They typically have short-term success. oftentimes you'll see these people blaming others. This is, for example, if this is a coach, this is going to be the person that is saying, oh, well, if my upline would do blah, 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 then I would be more successful. Or if I could only find the right people, then I would be more successful. Or I don't have the time. And like, there's always the excuse. They have an excuse behind most things, but they also can do things. It's not that they are not capable of doing the things that successful people are doing. They just need that motivation behind them. So these might be the people that go to a Super Saturday and they're like, get totally pumped up, or go to Summit and they're like, this is awesome, I can totally do this. And they're going to have that short-term success. But as soon as that motivation leaves them, then they're gone. So unless somebody's holding their hand, walking them through it, they're going to disappear. And then you have number 3. These are our doers. These people are self-driven. They get stuff done. They are going to be the ones that no matter what, whether their upline coach is giving them trainings, if their upline coach is totally absent, if their upline coach maybe disappeared completely and then canceled their account and they have no idea who their actual upline is, those are the people that are going to still prevail. They're going to go through, they're going to be the ones that are going to be in it in the end, no matter what. They're the ones that can build something out of nothing. They don't play the blame game, excuse me. So we all want to be a number 3, right? I mean, that's what sounds the most appealing. At least it does to me. So there's no greater education than one that is self-driven. I love this quote because I feel like no matter what, I feel like we have a team that we really truly do provide, or at least we try to do our best to provide a good basis for where you want to start and how to guide coaches and how to build your team and go from there. But ultimately, this still has to be self-driven because there's only so much that somebody can teach you. And you have to decide that you want this on your own, and you have to decide that you're going to be that number 3. You're not going to be a number 2 that goes, oh, I'm motivated because I just did this training. I'm really excited and I got my first person to sign up. And then as soon as it gets hard, you don't want to stop. Like, you have to still be self-driven. And part of that is when you decide that you want to dive into the personal development and all those things that we know are key in this business. So if you're not a number 3, you need to become a number 3. So I want you to really think, if you're reading through this and you're going, I think I'm a number 3, but I'm not totally sure, or maybe you totally know that you are not a number 3, you are a 1 or a 2. I want you to think about, are your excuses really more important to your dreams? Because really, when it comes down to it, you guys, the difference between 1s, 2s, and 3s is the excuse and deciding to give into that excuse. Because a lot of times we're saying that we can't do this, or we come up with some reason of why we're not successful. And is that really fair to our dreams? Now think back what you want that dream life to look like, okay? Is it really fair to that dream to give into the excuse now because maybe we're scared or we're nervous or we just don't know what to do at this point? Now, this next part is kind of the hard part, you guys. So who's going to support you in your dream life? Oops, sorry, hit that a little bit too soon. So who's going to support you? I want you to go back to those top 5 people, those 5 people that you spend the most time with. Now, if you sat down and you had a conversation with them and you said, this is my dream life, and you just spilled it out to them, you totally poured your heart out to them, told them everything that you want, whether it's financial, everything that you want for your dream life, are they going to support you? Now, I know my 5 people, my 5 current people, I should say, would support me wholeheartedly, and I could talk about this dream life and they would be excited for me and they would want me to run towards it. And I know that they could share their dream life with me and I would support them and help them get to it as much as I could. So you guys, the thing is, misery loves company. Now I need you to really assess the friends that you're hanging around with and who's your support system. Now I'm not saying go ahead and just like dismiss all your friends. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But really think about, would that person support you? Now this can come down to even your significant other, your spouse, your boyfriend, your whatever. I know when I started into this business, my husband has always been one that's very supportive of me. And he was supportive because this is something that truly makes me happy. And he saw a huge change in me once I started really just diving in and being open. And he saw my confidence just explode with this business. And this is something our business can give. It can give you confidence. It can give you so many things that can really help you achieve that dream life. But sometimes spouses are not supportive, okay? Sometimes your friends are not supportive, and you have to be either willing to have that conversation with them that you need to support me. And obviously if it's a spouse, that's the conversation you have to have. But if this is a friend, then maybe you need to think about distancing yourself for a little bit. You know, maybe, I'm not saying cut off the friendship, but you should probably not be in the top 5 people, because you need your top 5 people to be willing to push you forward and push you towards your dream. So we have to be comfortable with change, you guys. Change is so hard and so scary, because nobody really wants change for the most part. But you'll find that the successful people are the people that embrace the change. They really want to move forward, and they're willing to hang out with the people that are going to push them. They're going to drive them. They're going to help them change to be more positive, to be a better person. So this little quote on here: the past is a nice place to visit, but certainly not a good place to stay. And that's really where it comes down to, you guys. People number 1, people number 2, they're usually going to stay in the past. They're going to kind of stay the same. You know, the number 2 people are still they're going to make some changes. I'm not saying that they're going to stay in the same place forever, but number 1s, they're not going to move. The number 3s are the ones that are going to run ahead, you guys. Then those are the people that we want to be. Okay, let me stop share. So this really truly was like down and dirty, quick to the point, probably maybe the shortest presentation I've ever put together. But when you guys look at your list, just a show of hands, who can say that they could 100% comfortably share their dream life with their top 5 people? I know I can now. I don't think I could have told you that a year ago, you guys. I really, truly don't think I could. And the more and more I see just the people that I've surrounded myself with in the past, it's not that I don't love and care for those people. I want the best for those people. But I know that at this point in their lives, they wouldn't be able to support me in what I need in my life. And if we're going to make changes, which are hard to do, you have to decide where you're going to prioritize your time, because you are going to fall into their path. And the thing is, you guys, as humans, we are just contagious. We really, truly are. And we become the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. So this is kind of one of those good hard looks in the mirror, because I want you to think about now, what kind of a person are you? Now, are you really that 1, that 2, or that number 3? Because if you're not being the positive influence in your group of friends, then you maybe need to start thinking about being that person, because that's who you need to be. That's who we want to be surrounded by. Because I know I haven't always been number 3. I know that. There are still times today that I'm going, I don't want to be that person, because, the number 3s are the ones that are driven and they're going. It gets easier though. It so does. That change gets just so much easier every single day. And it's easy, you guys, to be surrounded by the friends that maybe sit and they gossip and they are bashing and they're just negative all the time. And they really just draw the energy out of you and bring you down. And then you don't move forward at all. It's so easy to fall into that. And it's so easy to fall into the gossip. I mean, I know I am so guilty of that so many times. That, that feeling that you feel like after you've been surrounded by that negativity and you just feel yucky, when you come home and you're just like, that was not a great experience. I mean, I had that experience. I can give you an example. Last summer, I was with a group of people that in a previous time, we had like the most amazing, positive, inspiring, we did a little trip together. And it was like this extremely motivating and inspiring time for me, because I was surrounded with these women that every time something negative got brought up, it was instantly like clicked out by somebody bringing up a positive or bringing up some type of way to spin it. So it was turned into, like, for example, we were talking about husbands and spouses and whatnot, and somebody was complaining about theirs. And right away we had another gal saying, yeah, but what about the good qualities? Like, we were really turning, like, that's how the whole weekend went that we spent this trip. And Jasmine's nodding her head. She probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. She was there. And it was an amazing time. I absolutely loved it. Well, fast forward to summer, and we kind of tried to do a similar trip. Different people were coming along. It was not the same trip. It was not. And I seriously came home, and Jasmine, sorry, you're probably gonna hear too much, but I came home from that trip, that second one, and I was like, never again. I will not do that. I felt awkward. I did not like that yucky feeling of sitting around talking poorly about others. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't that good motivating thing. And at that point, I decided where I needed to put the space for me in making a good positive change for myself. Which sounds really sad. And I do really love all those people that I was with. I really do. But it was just a time that you really had to decide, do I want to continue being that person, or do I want to move forward? Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Anybody have any questions at all?
I have a takeaway.
Let's hear it.
I'm a recovering number 2, which means I'm working really hard at being a number 3, but it's hard. And so discipline's always been my biggest weakness, and discipline is what sets apart the 2s and the 3s when motivation isn't there, right? So that's that. And so I appreciate you sharing this, Sindel, because I think it's been something that's been on my mind, and I like the part about relationships too. And just from a standpoint of being a professional who deals in relationships, I feel like this is something that I deal with clients, and Angie, she's in the same field I am, and maybe it's been in the same spot, but when people grow, it makes everyone uncomfortable. And so one of the hardest parts about having a client in therapy or a challenger in our groups is that when they begin to change, it scares the people around them because they've always been a certain way. And so, maybe you've experienced that in your own life when you've gone through changes, and we should be. I know that I have, and even through this coaching thing, as I've changed, I have those growing pains where I have to be like, hey, are you coming with me, or are you staying back there? And I think just letting them know that they're invited to come along with you, or they can stay so that they know that there's an option, is a really good choice. But like, this is where I'm going, and I'd love for you to be on the ride with me. So, I think you spoke to that, Sindel. But it's just a nice way to address it, especially with friends. This is my dream. This is where I'm going. I'd love to have you in my corner. And if you can't be, then, So thank you for that, Sindel.
I think those are great takeaways, Christina. I can so relate because I definitely am the number 2 and number 3. Like there's days that I'm like, I got this. And then thank goodness there's Summit and Super Saturdays, you guys, because sometimes I need to be number 2. Anybody else have questions? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. Awesome call. I think it's so true, and it's nice to like analyze and see, like, even for yourself, but then for your team as well, the people that you're working with. But anyways, as far as like the friendships and the people that you surround yourself, I can totally relate to that. I feel like I have friends from all over, just because we've moved so much. And each place I've had different types of friends. And when I first started coaching, I remember thinking like, oh, my friends are going to think like, what is she doing? Like, she's just trying to sell to us. And that was a big eye opener to me, that these aren't probably people that would support my dreams, And so I think that just that feeling of like, if I worried that my friends were going to think badly about what I was doing or judge what I was doing or have the wrong idea, that was an eye-opener for me of like, who am I surrounding myself with? And coaching is the reason why I feel like I now am okay with saying, I don't need that friendship. Like, I don't need that negativity. I get to choose who I surround myself with. And it's really a freeing and liberating thing. And like, your life just changes. So big takeaway from that. I love sharing that you shared that part, because I can totally relate.
I love always like when we can share and we can relate, you guys, because I think sometimes it's so easy for us to think that that person's just got it all together, because I'm pretty sure Kate really does have it all. No, I'm kidding, Kate. But it's true. Like, none of us have it all together, you guys. None of us do. We all have these same feelings. And sometimes it's so easy just to think, oh, this all comes easy for that person and they don't struggle, or they don't have these same feelings, or they have the best friends that obviously support and do everything with them. That's not the case. It's really, truly not. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything that's maybe not even related to this call? Anything that you guys are wondering about that we can talk about at all?
I'm really impressed with your time, Sindel.
Me too.
I thought it was gonna be a little longer. I
don't think you've ever talked that little in your entire, like, that was amazing and powerful.
And poor Christy, she calls me, she's like, this is gonna be an hour-long conversation. What is gonna happen?
I know what I'm getting into.
I have a question, and I mean, there could be so many different answers, but I just like to pick people's brains. So let's say you have a team or you're working with somebody, and like, what do you recommend doing if that person is a 1 or a 2, and you know they could be a 3? I'm just curious, like, how could we not only use it to analyze ourselves, but also to bring out the best in other people? Does that make sense? I don't even know what the question is, but.
So are you kind of asking, like, in what way can we?
What way would you use it?
To our challengers when we notice that they're the 1s or 2s?
Yeah. What would you do? I'm just curious. Like.
Well, I've never done this before. I'm kind of wondering if maybe even just presenting with them and asking them maybe about their top 5 friends, you know, because in really kind of relating it back. And obviously we don't want to get personal with any of this stuff, because it's not about a personal thing, you guys. Mm-hmm. It's really about, if you want to change and you want to grow, what's holding you back. And really, Christy, you should probably be answering this, or Angie, like, you guys are the pros at this. But I think, like, assessing who they're surrounded by is probably a good place to start, at least.
Maybe this would be a good fit for a challenge group. Like, just, I mean, saying, oh, sorry, we got a diaper change coming in, so there might be some crying. But we could also include that in the challenge group, as far as, like, how, you know, when you're getting started, look around at who's supporting you, you know, and who's going to support you, and try to spend more time with those people. I don't know, just something to mention in the prep week. Anyways, I'm going to put myself on mute.
I have a thought on that in terms of, like, coaches on your team. I mean, I think that, at least speaking as your coach, and you're my coach, that one, I think I've shared with you enough about me that you know my struggles and where those areas that I struggle with. So I think if you know your coaches well enough, you know your team well enough, it would be saying, you know, this is what I see. And then maybe suggesting personal development in that area, or how can I help you, because I know that you can be a number 3, but I see that you're lacking, you know, confidence, or maybe that you're not, you're struggling with your discipline or something like that. How can I help you? And just offering that up, but also suggesting, you know, I've been working on self-discipline, personal development for like 5 months now. And if I was disciplined enough, I'd be done already, but I'm not. So, I mean, that's an area I know that I need to work on, but I think it's an area that we cover just kind of naturally in our conversations. And it's just taking the initiative to acknowledge it with people. That's what I would say.
I love those ideas. I really think something like this could be easily fit into prep week, and you could really have people kind of have an idea, because if they have an idea, I think during the challenge groups, then when we flip them over to coaches, which that's where so many of our coaches come from, they're already going to go into it with this mindset of being able, or at least when we notice that they're falling off track, or they're being a number 1 instead of a 2 or 3, they'll know where we're coming from for sure. So, any other questions, suggestions?
So I've always been like a number 3, I think, always.
You have. You're very self-driven, Jasmine.
Yeah, I am. But I think, I don't know, maybe this whole thing this just really hits home for me. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations about this the last couple weeks. But I think who I was letting myself listen to was pulling me from a 3 to a 2. And we obviously never want to go backwards, but that was a really hard feeling for me, because I've never felt anything different than a 3. And it was completely holding me back. Every single post that I was going to post or every single picture, I was like, oh, what is so-and-so going to think about this? What kind of comments am I going to hear about this? And so when I finally let my post fly that I sat on for 24 hours, and I knew I was going to do it, I just didn't know when I was going to do it. I was telling Sindel yesterday that it was just completely freeing to me. And something that was kind of cool that happened yesterday, I had one of my friends at work that I've been trying to get her into a challenge for a while, and she goes back and forth, and yep, she's going to do it. No, she's not. And anyway, she stopped by my room and she just said, thank you for posting what you post. She's like, I haven't posted anything on Facebook since 2013. She went through like a bad divorce and everything, but she said, but I will like things. And she said, I need you to keep posting those motivational things because they hit home with me. So right there, it was like, I went from listening to what one of my best friends says about my post to somebody that I'm just getting to know. And it's more worth it for me to post those things because of her than it is for my best friend or whatever. And so it was freeing to be a 3 again.
Something that you just said, Jasmine, kind of struck me. And Kate, you've maybe listened to this just because I know you listen to these podcasts. And it was quite a while ago, but Joel Osteen has some really good podcasts when you just like need a boost. And he did a podcast about how God pulls you back in order to propel you forward. And I feel like, Jasmine, like what you just said there, like getting pulled back to a 2, and just seeing how your page has exploded in the last week, at least for me. And maybe you were always posting, but for some reason now it's showing up for me all the time. Kate, you too? Yeah. So I think that's what Joel's talking about, that sometimes God gives us these trials and he pulls us back to get ready to shoot us forward like an arrow into what we're coming into. And I said the same thing to Sindel in private conversation, but I'm like, Jasmine's got like a big thing coming. And so you need to just embrace that and embrace that number 3 and get excited because you're getting shot somewhere. I don't know where, but it's going to be amazing. So I'm proud of you for sticking through it and for reaching out. And
thanks for the support.
You guys give me chills. I kind of feel like this whole thing was a little bit of a God thing because, Jasmine, you talked about this stuff. Christy's sending me, I wish I could say that these people number 1, 2s, or 3s were anything of my idea. They're so not. Like, this was another call that we had listened to that she just gave such great points that Christy had shared coincidentally the same time you had things going on. And I felt like there were so many things that were getting pulled in this direction. And that's why I chose to do this topic for this call, because I'm like, okay, there's way too many things coming in from this area that I feel like this is something everybody needs. And it's nice to know that our whole team goes through this. It so is. And I don't know, you can totally relate to that wonderful trip for our insane inflatable 5K thing that we've done 2 years now. Like, the difference between that first one to that second one, I'm sure you probably can relate to the feeling of like not wanting to go back to that, like that negativity.
And I totally forgot about that. Like, I remember the first one being amazing, and I even came home and I told Austin, I was like, it wasn't like this, like a bunch of women just like
around bitching. Like,
yes, I told him how positive it was.
So often.
And then when I think back to last summer and how even within our own group, it was dramatic because we couldn't even decide where to eat, and we ended up splitting up to even go eat places, and it was terrible.
But I think that's like where we have to, that was the time we got pulled back. I love that you relayed that, Christy. I love that. All right, we have less than a minute, guys. Anybody else have anything that wants to share at all?
Congratulations to Angie on January Coach of the Month.
Rockstar. And you had some major Success Club points, lady.
I did, and I'm glad I actually made this call because finally I'm not busy on a Tuesday night. But I was just thinking about that, like, because I was, December was very successful, and January was very successful, and this month I am struggling big time. I've probably heard more no's this month than any other month, and so I don't even have one single Success Club point yet. So
don't stop. It's gonna happen. Just keep doing it. It's going to happen. I can relate to that. Coming
Me
off.
too. I have 2 right now, and I'm hoping that they don't get removed because it was somebody that purchased the challenge pack in the past. I'm like, I have 7 days. What am I gonna do? So let's do it, Angie. Okay.
They came up with my team leaderboard for the team cup like earlier this week, or was it last week? The last time they sent the, like these are.
Yep.
And I don't know anyone on my team. I got an assigned team. The leader's not doing her job. She never created a Facebook group and did all the stuff she was supposed to do. But either way, I have, it's 0, 0, 0, and then it's Christy, -1, 0, 0, 0. And I'm like, well, at least I sold one and they returned it in the time.